What is up, guys? Welcome to the ThinkComputers weekly tech podcast. This is episode 243, and our podcast is brought to you by Amazon. If you go to thinkcomputers.org/Amazon and happen to purchase something, that gives a little kickback and, of course, keeps the podcast ongoing. With me is my co-host, Ryan. What's going on?
No, just wait until last minute to, do new setups for the podcast.
We can hear your mouse clicking, by the way.
I know. Yep, I'll mute it. I'll be muted quite a bit tonight because there's no RTX voice for me. I'm in the middle of a rebuild, so
yeah. So talking about Amazon, it was the past 2 days have been Amazon Prime Day, and I did buy one thing, but it was just last minute because I just saw it on Reddit. But did you buy anything?
Nothing.
Anything tech related?
Nothing. I looked. I didn't look super hard, but
yeah.
I looked and I didn't want to spend so much time looking for some deal that I really even needed anyways. Probably not.
Yeah. I woke up that day. It was a Tuesday. It started yesterday, and I was like, I'm buying stuff. I'm buying a drone. I'm buying this. I'm buying that. I'm buying all this stuff. I'm ready to spend lots of money. Amazon, take my money. And I didn't buy anything. I think the biggest thing at least for tech people, was storage. There was a lot of storage on sale from NAS hard drives, external hard drives, NVMe SSDs. There was a ton of deals on NVMe SSDs. Some of the bigger companies did have deals on keyboards and headsets. I know Razer had a lot of stuff on sale. Corsair did as well. But yeah, I remember, wasn't it last year that Ryzen 3000 series went on sale, or there were some really good processor deals?
I feel like that was Black Friday because that's when I bought mine.
Yeah, it might have been Black Friday.
Yeah.
But the only thing I did buy, which I guess we'll skip to the end in our show notes, is I bought a coiled USB cable. I've been looking to get one of these for a while.
For keyboard?
Yeah. Okay. So I've been looking to get one of these for a while, and I don't know. You can order custom ones, and I was like, I might get a custom one. That'd be kind of cool. I am kind of like a keyboard nerd these days. But I was like, I just want to buy one to see if it's even going to look good on my desk. I might not even like it. So why spend $100? So I just was like, I just want one that I can buy, not customized, nothing crazy. And you can't buy them anywhere that are under $50, which kind of seems like a lot for a USB cable. But I saw this post on Reddit from this company called Asceni, maybe. And they have
$18.
Yeah, they're really cheap. It's a Prime deal. And if you're not even a Prime member, if you go to they have their own subreddit, they'll give you a discount code, which gives you 25% off anyways. So I got every color except for the pink. So I got a black one, a blue one, and a white one. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just like a coiled USB cable. I think, it's supposed to supposed to look like that. It's going to look pretty cool on your desk, possibly. But I've been looking for these for a while, and there is a couple other ones that you can just flat out buy, but they're still custom made. They take a long time to get to you, and they're still relatively inexpensive. But for $18 or $19.
So do they make a keyboard too? It looked like they were plugged into a keyboard with their logo as well.
Yeah, so they do make a keyboard as well.
Okay.
But like I said, I can now actually buy these just outright. Don't have to customize. Don't have to pay $100 for a cable. So yeah, it's still going on. This is a live page right now. So if you want to pick one up, the link is in the show notes, which the link for the show notes is in the description of this video. So if you guys want to follow along and see everything that we're talking about this week, again, our podcast typically goes for, I would say, about an hour. Might be a little bit short this week because we don't have any reviews to talk about, but grab a drink, grab some food. I just had some Domino's earlier. And I have my Red Bull here. So, hang out with us. And of course, talk about tech. If you guys have any questions, of course, in the chat, go ahead and throw them in there or just, say what's up. And let's get started. So obviously, like I said, we don't have any reviews this week, but we do have a couple things going on the site, of course. I didn't forget about it like I did not last week, but the week before. I forgot about Case Mod Friday.
Yeah, you skipped over one, and now we gotta We need to do 2 1 week, so we're like caught back up.
We could possibly do that. But this week we have Project Isaac from the guy's username is the Crap Man. I don't know his actual real name. But this is Division 2 build, which I figured you would like because you're pretty big into the Division.
Yeah, no, I'm always good for a Division themed build. We've seen a couple of them. Nothing recently though.
Yeah.
I like on that radiator that shroud over it, right? That venting there. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, this is more of like an industrial look.
Industrial, yep.
Which I think is pretty cool. Luke in the chat said gross. I think he was talking about the cable.
Crap man? Or the cable. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what I don't think he was talking about this build. And he said he's a huge fan of Razer. Have you guys played with their new stuff? Yeah, and I have a new headset from them that I'll be testing as well. So we can definitely talk about that. But yeah, the Division 2 colors are like the perfect colors. Orange, white, and like black. I think those go together so well in a build. All thermal take water cooling parts, which we don't see as much, but I do like, even though it's like kind of big, I do like their big block with the RGB around it, which is pretty cool. And you notice some things one thing that really stands out about this build is if you look at the cabling for the power.
It all goes through those custom cutouts.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. We typically don't see that. Like they're in grades of 4, maybe?
Probably 3, 6 if they're by 4. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool in this build. Obviously, like you said, the covering on the radiator, which kind of just hides it, but still obviously allows it to breathe. That's really cool.
Custom shroud on the GPU.
Yeah, custom thing on the GPU. Again, it's like very industrial.
Whoa.
I don't know if I'm a fan of
the Faraday cage on the outside.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. Nah. On the front, of course, Division logo and all of that. Like I said, I just think the orange goes really well in this. You can see the fans, which look really cool. They're the fans that you can change the outer ring and the inner ring to different colors, which of course allows you to do. Of course, he has the white on the inside and the orange on the outside, which is really cool. And then there is a picture of like the back where like he's hidden everything, but you can see kind of the how he's done everything and made a custom place for the reservoir and pump and all that kind of stuff. So I do like builders that show like the stuff that most people don't want to see, like this back part. So that's pretty cool there as well. What
was up top there? It almost looked like some sort of cooling fins in that last view. Yeah, towards the top right. See how there's like, it almost looks like heat sink fins coming out of the very.
I don't know.
Or not fins, but heat pipes.
Yeah, those might just be knobs. Like if you see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those are. These could be knobs for just like a fan controller, but I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
But overall, I think it's a really cool build. It just like I said, the colors, you can't go wrong with those colors. I think it's really hard to mess up a build if you have those colors. But yeah, definitely check that out. We have a full section of Case Mod Friday builds. So if you want to get some inspiration or you just want to browse case mods, which I used to do for like I remember there was a couple sites, I forget what the sites were that had like these massive case mod galleries. So you can go through ours. We have a ton in there if you guys want to go ahead and check that out. And we are still running our $50 gift card contest. So if you're not in the contest yet, we're giving away a $50 gift card to pretty much anywhere that I can buy you a $50 gift card. It can be Amazon. It can be, as you can see, Steam, Xbox, iTunes. It can be literally anywhere that you can buy. I can buy you a gift card. I'll definitely, if I can buy you a virtual gift card, we'll get it out to you. It's super easy to enter. We have just under a week left. We do it through Gleam. There's a bunch of ways to enter. You have to just sign up for an email newsletter, and that's it. Just a way to give back to you guys. And these ones have been a pretty big hit because we're not limited to where we can get you. Like we're not limited to, most of our contests are US only because we can't ship overseas and things like that. So this is worldwide. Anybody can enter. So get your entry in. The link for the contest is in the show notes. So check out the show notes and get in on the contest. So And we will have another contest after this one, so definitely stay tuned for that as well.
This is like a pretty long time frame. We've had contests just back to back to back. It's nice.
There's been a few weeks where like I was lining one up and
right in between, sure, but
we didn't have it lined up. But yeah, we've given away a lot of cool stuff this year, so
definitely
always want to get back to you guys and everything like that. So let's move on to news since we don't have any reviews to talk about this week. As I talked about last week, kind of took a week off of posting reviews. I've been working on reviews, but it's just so we're kind of backlogged so we don't get burnt out. That's the big thing, is just not getting burnt out.
It's a good plan.
Yeah, you never want that to happen, especially now. There's a lot of products that are going to be coming up because, of course, it's holiday season, and obviously we want to review those products, but you don't want to be so burned out where you're just like, it's just not good. So, talking about new products, AMD pulled the trigger, and of course they had their live stream for their new Ryzen 5000 series. Of course, we told you a month ago, or at least a month ago, maybe longer, that it would be called Ryzen 5000 series. They are skipping the 4000 series. They did name some of their APUs 4000 series. Maybe that's why they moved to the 5000 series.
I did see something kind of indicating that. I don't remember if it was a tweet or some other news piece, but yeah, that's essentially why.
Yeah, so we have four new processors that will be available on November 5th. We'll talk about 3 first, and then we'll talk about the big one after that. So I call it the main range because I don't consider a 16-core chip like in the mainstream per se.
Yeah. Even though like 5 years ago, 8 cores wouldn't have been mainstream, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, 16 is quite a bit.
Yeah. So I call this, even though it's not the flagship, like I call this it's effectively replacing the 3900X, is the Ryzen 9 5900X. Again, 12 core, 24 thread, base clock of 3.7 gigahertz, boost up to 4.8 gigahertz, 70 megabytes of total cache. That will be $549 at launch. Then we have a Ryzen 7 5800X. Of course, that replaces the Ryzen 7 3800X. 8-core, 16-thread, 105-watt TDP, 4.7 gigahertz boost, 3.8 gigahertz base, 36 megabytes of total cache. That will be $449. And then we have the Ryzen 5 5600X. That is, of course, replacing the Ryzen 5 3600X. 6-core, 12-thread. This is a 65-watt part. Base clock of 3.7 gigahertz, and it will boost up to 4.6 gigahertz. 35 megabytes of total cache. That will be $299. All 3 of these will be available November 5th. So that is very soon. What do you think?
No, it excites me. I was for a while feeling like, oh man, I feel bad. I've only had my chip for about a year, and these new ones are coming out. But really, when I compare the boost and base frequencies to what I've got, I'm not feeling so bad. I do still want to see what they perform like, right, after reviews, because obviously they're going to get improvements. Even at the same speeds, they're going to have just process improvements to get better, and then obviously the clock improvements will get some more performance. But I'm excited about them. I think, again, they're priced just right on these that we've talked about so far. The TDP at 105 is nice. I think
so another hit. One thing that AMD had said to us is, one, to increase performance, and to the increased performance that you'll see, it's not done by, it's all in the AM4 socket. We've always been in the AM4 socket. They're not increasing the TDP at all. Much like kind of how Intel has consistently increased their TDP. They're not doing that. Also, I can't say much about it, but you will see in gaming a nice increase, and you'll see an increase just by changing your processor. Doesn't matter your platform. Well, you'll see it in the reviews, but that's something to really be excited about. But it's just like AMD does it again. They're not priced out of range like we've seen with some other things. The only interesting thing I do see here that I actually just noticed before we started the podcast is under this cooler, the top processors don't ship with a cooler.
Yeah, and like
I always
the
thought,
3800X came with a cooler.
yeah,
Right?
instead of the 3900X.
I mean, their reasoning was that most of the people that are buying that processor, they're going to want to swap out their cooler anyways, is what I saw. So, I mean, it's a way to keep the cost competitive.
Yeah, it's just like that was especially a first time builder, maybe a high school, college student. You have limited funds. A good CPU cooler, air cooler is going to run you at least $50, probably, maybe 40, for a decent one to handle that type of processor. And it's just like, that's like for that segment, or even anybody really, that could be like another 2 weeks paycheck, right? You could get it, you can have your system built, and then in 2 weeks when you get paid, you could go buy a CPU cooler. That's just, I don't know.
But really, the 5600 is no slouch, right? 6 cores, 12 threads, and it comes with the cooler.
Yeah,
and you're going to
it
get
comes with the Wraith Stealth,
yeah,
which is not. So they're. I don't know what. Again, they might have something new that they just didn't. You would think they would announce it with it because it says I don't know.
Not available. Yeah.
But then, of course, at the top end, we have the Ryzen 9 5950X, which will replace the 3950X, 16 core, 32 thread, still at 105 watts, base of 3.4 gigahertz. It boosts up to 4.9 gigahertz, 72 megabytes of total cache. That will be $799. So that the same price, or was it $699 for the 3950? I think it was $699.
And I'd have to look.
Yeah. But in any case, full lineup, all available on this, launch day. So you'll have all of these top end processors available. I think this is the right way to do it. These are the processors that kind of everybody wants.
Mm-hmm.
Most enthusiasts want the X part. We'll talk about another story, but you will see maybe some other parts come a little bit later. But I think this is a good launch. And again, these will slot right into a bunch of different motherboards as well. So there is no new motherboards. There's nothing.
Right, there's like 600 series or anything.
Yeah, there's nothing like that, which is great for a lot of people who even have 400 series motherboards, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But again, that's just like, that is kind of like, that was the AMD promise initially, is that AM4 will be what people, what will be used for years. You're not going to get a new socket every generation. So that is kind of nice to see that. So I'm excited for these. Ryzen, I've been a fan of Ryzen's more or less since the second generation. First generation, with any product, first generation is a little bit rocky. I'm sure you guys remember the memory issues and some of the other things on first generation. Second generation did really good. In third generation, we absolutely loved Ryzen 3000 series. So Ryzen 5000 series, November 5th will be available. So pretty pumped for that, I would say.
Luke was asking in chat, he was asking if we tested the new Ryzen processors with faster RAM. I know some of your newer RAM reviews have been on the Ryzen system, right? On a 20, not on a 3000 series, but on a 2600X. Is that right?
No, they've been on the 3000 series. Okay. But it all depends. Most of the time we do our RAM reviews on Intel systems, just to keep things kind of the same across the board. If you change out processors, your results will be a little bit different. So if it's a kit that's meant for Ryzen, like it's said to, made for Ryzen, we'll test it on Ryzen. Actually, have a kit coming up that we will be testing specifically because it's made for Ryzen processors. But check out our memory reviews. There are a few that we have tested on Ryzen, but most are tested on Intel. But again, typically with Ryzen, the faster the memory, the better performance you get. I do think like the 3600 megahertz, I believe, is the kind of pinnacle of like performance that you would want on Ryzen. You'll see that change with Ryzen 5000 series to even higher memory, but stay tuned for all of that. Talking about upcoming after the X series, there is a new leak out that we will see a Ryzen 5 5600 in 2021 for 220. The Ryzen 5 3600 was one of the best processors that AMD ever put out. Price to performance was amazing. It allowed you to build a system that could game, that could do all this stuff for very low cost. $220 for a, what is it, 6-core processor that can do a lot. That makes it $80 cheaper than the Ryzen 5 5600X. So it's a very compelling processor for a lot of these more budget builds, but it's still a processor that can do quite a lot. Just remember 6-core. Remember I was reviewing 6-core processors, which were flagships not all that long ago.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I would expect like the non-X parts to probably will be available in 2021. You would think that for the holiday season that I think AMD wants to keep just the X parts out, just for the fact that that's just what they want to sell, and they're going to be able to sell it, I would say too, So 2021. It's not all that far away, but it seems far away.
It's going to go quick. I mean, I know like the last 6-7 months have seemed to drag on, but I feel like towards the end of the year, it's going to just fly by.
Yeah. AMD did start, AMD motherboard partners did start rolling out BIOS updates, which will support these new processors, not only on 500 series motherboards, but 400 series motherboards as well. So you have X470, you'll be able to slot in a 5000 series processor, which is pretty cool, I think. B450, same thing. I think that brings a lot of value to these processors. And again, you will see a boost in performance in gaming just by slotting in a new processor, which is really exciting, really, really exciting. Again, you'll see that when the reviews come out, I think, but that's something to really be excited for.
Well, and it sounds like the 400 series motherboards, like that support will start coming out towards the beginning of next year, but if I'm not mistaken,
yeah, they did say that.
500 will be available right away. Obviously.
Yeah. And again, if you have a 4004, it kind of makes sense to upgrade because you're going to get Gen 4 speeds. Getting a new processor is nice, and again, I talked about your boost in performance for gaming, but the whole reason you bought a Ryzen 3000 series and an X570 motherboard was to get Gen 4. I think especially with a lot of the games, you'll see Cyberpunk and other games that are very large and load times. You want that Gen 4 speed if you can get it, if you can afford it. You definitely want it. So I'm excited. New motherboard, and there's going to be some new motherboards. We've seen a few already that have been announced. Even though they're like an X570, they're still
iterations,
and a lot of them now they've taken the time to design good heat sinks, so we don't have a fan. So a lot of people complained about.
I saw an Asus board the other day that didn't have a chipset fan. That's nice.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of that. Also, during the presentation, AMD's presentation, they did tease Big Navi GPUs, which what's the date for that? I forget now. I forget, it's not in the post. But it will be a little bit later. I think it's the end of this month. We'll get details on that. But
28th.
Yeah, 28th. So they did show this slide right here that at 4K, 3 games, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and Gears of War 5, all in the highest quality settings, badass quality for Borderlands 3. One thing that's interesting about this is that now Borderlands 3 is a little weird in the higher end. You don't see much difference. I think actually I'll bring up our tests on it, but the result that we did see of 61 frames per second on badass quality is basically almost the same as a 3080. So that makes you think that this could actually be above a 2080 Ti, which would be really exciting. I think that a lot of people, myself included, thought that Big Navi is going to be 2080 Ti. I mean, you just kind of figured it, right?
Yeah.
But again, Borderlands is a little, I wouldn't say sketchy, but it's a lot to do with the CPU base more than anything. I'm trying to bring up our review, our 3090 review, which has our 3080. So our Borderlands, it's kind of hard to see on the screen, guys, but so the RTX 3080 scored 62.77 FPS, and the 3090 scored 67.77 FPS. And if you look here, they did 61. So it's pretty close to a 3080. So that gets me excited for it. I think that again, I would like to see like other games that we've tested, so I can be like, oh, it's this and it's that.
Just need to load up some Modern Warfare gears and.
Yeah, I do have Gears. I don't have. I never really got into Call of Duty, but I do have Gears of War 5, so I could get on that. So, old man's in the chat. He said he's just dropped in. Well, thanks for stopping in. Today's Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. All day.
I always forget that like Wednesday is the podcast day. I don't know why. I just do.
Okay.
But yeah. So talking about AMD, it's a lot of AMD news. I don't know if you remember. I remember, and I was actually really excited for this project. I think it was when Vega was announced, and I was like, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was drinking the AMD Kool-Aid with the Vega 9 or the mini? What was the mini card that they announced? I forget what that was. But I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm like, I'm getting one day one. It's awesome. The performance that they said, but then the performance wasn't there. But at the same time, during all of that, they showed this, which was called their Project Quantum. And Project Quantum was really interesting because this is like a mini ITX case, and at the time when they first announced it, it actually featured an Intel CPU with an AMD GPU. And it was this all enclosed water-cooled system with this little external, probably, I'm guessing that this is like a pump, or I don't know what's all there. But in any case, it was this really cool thing that I was super excited about because I was like, it's super small. I mean, the design is really awesome. We had never heard of it since then. But AMD recently filed for a patent for it, for the design, probably just to save so nobody uses this design in a case or anything else. It's a really cool design because one of these parts holds I think just the hardware. The other part is like the cooling or something. I don't know how they did it. We linked to our old article.
Images of it, or is that like the only thing we've ever seen?
No, we've seen this, and I'll go to our old post from 2015 that kind of shows.
That almost makes it look bigger. That looks like there's two rads next to each other, but
yeah,
I was the R9 Fiji.
Yeah. I was all on the Fiji. They had me sold, but what's it called? But yeah, so I was like so sold on this, but they recently filed a new patent for it, which means that we could actually see this come out. I think it would honestly be compelling for a lot of people. You're an AMD fan. Mm-hmm. You don't want to build your own system. This is super small. Possibly. Now, again, we can't really tell like the size based on this picture, but it's supposed to be mini ITX, so it can't be all that big, right?
No.
So, I would, like I said, it would be compelling for a lot of people if they priced it right, and with new AMD GPUs coming out, AMD processor now, AMD GPU, super AMD fanboy system, I would say. Yeah. So I think it'd be cool if they came out with it. Kayla's here. She says hi from Artesia, and she says she even misses you, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
But yeah, like, and again, this is the patent part, the part of the patent filing. So, you can see the motherboard down there.
it's cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy one, but I would be, because I'm building my own computer. But I think for a lot of people, it would be pretty cool to see that. So check that out. I really do hope they come out with it. I think that it would be pretty cool to see. So, talking about more things that make me, this is like my trigger warning. Like, I get triggered because of these stories. It looks like AMD, or not AMD, Nvidia might launch a RTX 3080 20 gig
Okay.
and an RTX 3070 16 gig in December. There's this story going out. I think Video Cards covered it first. They said that they're, based on good sources, these two cards might come out. This is scary to me because, just like we saw on the low end, and we've talked about this for like every week, we seem to be talking about all these cards from Nvidia.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you segmenting yourself so much?
Like, and so, yeah. Okay, so my first issue with this is they might. Okay, obviously the title says they might launch them in December. Yet Nvidia's come out and said, well, we don't expect anything to be available until 2021. Like, why even launch them? It feels like, number one, that it feels to me like it would be a paper launch when people can't even get your standard cards right now.
Yeah.
To be announcing, or, I mean, I guess this is an announcement, so it's rumor.
It's rumor.
Yeah. But yes, they're segmenting again the market. They've already got the 3070 still coming out, right?
Yeah, and that's an 8 gig card.
Right. Isn't even out yet, and we're already seeing like iterations of this. Obviously, more memory on these cards is going to be great, but yeah, just segmenting them.
Like,
and then,
are you really taking advantage? Like, do we really need a 20 gig card? I mean, we already have a 3090, which has 24 gigabytes. Like, what's the difference? Is it like again, as we always talk about, it's this $20 difference. Like, if you look at this graph or table that Video Cards has, you have a 3090. Then you would have a 3080 20 gig, then you would have a 3080 10 gig, and then you would have possibly a 3070 Ti, although then you would have a 3070 16 gig, then you have the standard 3070 8 gig, and then we also have a 3060 Ti, which is supposed to come out before the actual 3060. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't like any of this.
It's, I honestly...
Well, but they're showing the 3070 Ti is canceled.
Yeah, because of this 3070 16 gig. And then they'll release Ti versions of both in a year from now. It's, again, I understand. I totally understand the whole idea of just, you want to be competitive at each price point. I get that. Like, I really understand that, the business side of it. But you're also confusing consumers a lot. And like, it just makes it so much harder for the consumer. Like, why should I buy a 3070 16 gig or a 3070 8 gig? Most consumers are going to get the one with 16 gig just because it's more expensive, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very confusing. I saw this on the low end.
We have both Ti and Super again.
Ugh, please don't.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go down that road because we only had the 2080 Ti. Everything else was Supers.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing TIs here. Are we going to get Supers later? It's, again, is just going to add more and more confusion. Well, is a Super better or is a Ti better? You really got to dig and look at the specs, obviously. But
yeah, Kosher Tech is in the house. What is going on? Old man said maybe that's why the 3080 and 3090 is so hard to get if they are ramping up to 20 gig 3080. I think the big problem with availability is the memory on the cards. GDDR6X is not in high yields yet. It's
still so new.
Yeah, it's very new. I just don't like this. I just don't like. I again, like, this is my like trigger. I'm triggered. Like,
I don't see the 3070 needing 16 gigs. That seems like a lot for that card. Don't you think?
A 3070 16 gig, is that what you said? Yeah, I don't like, are you trying, like, what are you doing with the 16 gigs?
Right.
Is that just to get better performance at a certain price point to beat an AMD card that might be coming out? Like, I don't understand it, because if you're looking at a 3070 with 8 gig and that doesn't serve you well in what you're doing, whether it's gaming, whether it's content creation, whatever, then you're going to move up to the 3080, right? You just are.
Right. What is that extra 8 gigs of memory going to get you at that chip performance level, right? The 3070 GPU, like, what are you running where it makes sense to double the memory on the card
And
instead of going to a 3080 or higher?
And I don't think, I mean, again, it's not availability thing. Like, there's going to be more 3070s out there. I don't think, even if they put a 16 gig one out and there's no 3080s, like, I don't think that's the case, because it's the same silicon basically, and it's the same memory, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like so many cards. Like, we're not even in the per se mid range, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards if you cancel out a 3070 Ti, and this is all obviously before refresh as well. That's confusing. Now maybe they're gonna have to do low end refresh. What am I even saying? Like, they're still gonna do a low end refresh too. So yeah, I get it. Again,
He's triggered. We need a new story.
Yeah. But yeah, we just needed a new Nvidia story for me to get triggered about. So yeah, let's move on. I'm sure if you guys can hear the dog barking in the background.
I'm sure my keyboard's been going nuts too, because
it has. Your keyboard hasn't been that bad.
Good.
Let's move on to. I'm trying to find the next story over the dog barking.
Founders Edition cards.
Yeah, so another blow to availability. If you were looking for a Founders Edition card, which I think is a very appealing card, I think Founders. Hold on one second, Ryan. Can you talk about the story? I think somebody's at my door.
Yeah, no problem. So he doesn't have me sharing the screen, but let me pull this story up real quick. I saw this the other day. Haven't read our article on it, but essentially Nvidia, I think, was saying, hey, we don't have enough stock to meet customer demand and handle selling these cards in our store. So we're going to let the retail partner in the US, Best Buy, handle shipments and selling our Founders Edition cards, right? So not only online, but I'm pretty sure they're possibly going to run those and make those available in the retail stores themselves. But yeah, they just, they obviously had issues with scalpers and bots getting multiple cards and then reselling them for markups. And I think they're just better suited to let somebody else handle it. That's, a full online commerce and retail vendor for these cards.
All right, I am back. I don't know who was at my door.
Okay.
But in any case,
and then in Europe, I don't think that they have found just who is going to offer those. So unfortunately, in the European market, they're kind of out of luck right now for getting a Founders Edition card.
Yeah. I didn't hear anything you said because I walked away.
No, so just kind of Nvidia saying, hey, we're going to allow or have Best Buy handle our online and in-store Founders Edition sales, because obviously they had issues with bots and multiple people buying and things like that, and they're just going to let them handle that.
Yeah, it's a big issue. It's kind of hard too, because like a lot of places, I know they're like more prevalent than a Micro Center or possibly, especially on the East Coast, especially like a Fry's. But they're not, like, sometimes Best Buys are hard to find. A lot of them close around here. So I don't know.
Responding to Luke here, he's asking, am I just stupid? I see no other users or whatnot in chat. We actually bring in chat. We see chat from people watching live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So we have multiple people there that we respond to. So if you're not seeing them, that's why they're on it, watching or participating on another platform.
Yeah. I wish we could bring it all in like somewhere where everybody could chat together, but I don't believe that we can. I guess I could show it on the screen, but it would be delayed as well.
Yep.
But maybe we'll set that up for next week for sure. So yeah, let's move on to the next story, which is another Nvidia story. It looks like they possibly will be moving to TSMC's 7-nanometer process in 2021. Basically, what they're right now they're running on Samsung's 8-nanometer process, and they'll be running going to TSMC's 7-nanometer process, basically because TSMC actually has room for it now. The yields are better. I don't think moving from 8 to 7, you're going to see a massive boost increase. Like if you have a 3080 that's based on 7-nanometer, and then you get a 3080 that's based, or you have a 3080 based on 8-nanometer, and you get a 3080 that's based on 7-nanometer. I don't think you're going to see that big of a jump. Like you're really not going to see much of a jump in performance at all.
Maybe some thermals, but and power.
Yeah, slightly, but not much.
I don't know that it's going to be that much.
Yeah. So TSMC actually has room for Nvidia now. So you will see that in 2021, possibly even with, they might just do it just for the refresh, either Super TI. We don't know what they're going to be called at this point. Yeah, or whatever the refresh would be called. That's what we would see. So yeah, let's talk about Western Digital. Last week we
kind of teased this, right?
We teased this announcement, but they announced all new products, which I guessed what a couple of them would be, or we did, and we were pretty right. They announced their next generation storage portfolio, which you can see all of it right there.
I really like this the branding and the look of all these products.
I don't know about the RGB lighting.
Okay, that's the only part that I may fall off on, but I like the black and the text that they've used, and just like the industrial. I don't know. I like it, and I don't mind the RGB.
Yeah,
maybe not rainbow RGB, but yeah,
yeah. The RGB is a little weird. That's all. But in any case, we have new products. The biggest one for me is the SN850 NVMe SSD. This is PCI Express Gen 4. So read and write speeds of 7,000 megabytes a second and 5,300 megabytes a second for the 1 terabyte model. I believe just like the SN750, I'm not sure actually, but you'll be able to get one with.
Yeah, they'll have one with without a heatsink. This time around, I don't think their heatsink is done in partnership with EK.
It is not.
They probably went on their own. I still like the look of this though, and it matches the rest of their, WD black gear with that design look there. I think it looks nice.
Yeah, I like it. And that's of course without it.
I think I maybe pick one of those up.
Yeah, Gen 4, get it.
Mm-hmm.
The 500 gigabyte will be $149. No word on prices for the 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte, but you can expect it, of course, go up from there. One card that I am excited about is their what is this? The AN1500. That's their add-in NVMe SSD. You can see it looks like this. Again, not the biggest fan of the RGB lighting there, but this will be available in 1, 2, and 4 terabyte capacities. It puts 2 SSDs in RAID 0, Gen 3 times 8. So you'll get speeds up to 6,500 megabytes a second and write speeds up to 4,100 megabytes a second.
Seems good.
So that's another awesome storage product. And then you're going to get the WD Black Game Dock NVMe SSD. So this is like a little kind of game dock. basically Thunderbolt 3 compatible devices, more or less like Thunderbolt 3 laptops, will give you super fast storage as well as a bunch of other ports. Basically, it's like a dock with a hard drive in it, which is pretty cool. 1 terabyte capacity starts at $499. So yeah, I think that's cool. I think
like that. We've seen the external docks obviously for monitor expansion, but the fact that you can put that it comes with a drive in it is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. We've seen like the external GPUs, but to have more storage and something that you just like, you come home from the day and you just plug into with one cable. I like that. So
Yep.
we'll have that there. Those as well. So like I said, I'm excited, mostly excited for the Gen 4 drive, but I do like the add-in card as well. Because I love storage and I'm a storage nerd. And then finally, this week I knew somebody was going to do a Cyberpunk themed accessories just because it's such a big game. Looks like SteelSeries they launched their limited edition Cyberpunk 2077 accessories. I do think they look pretty good. They basically are mouse pads and then accessories for their headsets. So you can see like these ear cups go on their headset.
Yep.
I think it's pretty cool.
Arctis, yeah.
Yeah, and then the headband as well. So the headband will go around and of course go on these, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, so a bunch of different styles and kind of whatever floats your boat.
Are you still pumped for that game?
What?
Are you still pumped for that game?
I want to be, but I know I won't have time to play it. That's the problem. So
that's kind of how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So yeah. So yeah, that is our news for the week. Not a whole lot. It does feel a little bit shorter of a show just for the fact that
no reviews, but
yeah, no reviews.
Next week.
We have some stuff coming up next week. I'll be taking a look at a B550 motherboard, a mini ITX B550 motherboard from Gigabyte. It's their B550i Aorus Pro AX. This is an awesome mini micro ITX motherboard. It just has so much. It has, of course, a Gen 4 NVMe SSD that comes with this massive heatsink, which is really cool. It also has a Gen 3 NVMe drive on the back. So you actually get 2 drives in this, which, again, when it comes to mini ITX, you're really limited typically to 1 NVMe drive, but you get 2 here. You get RGB lighting, you get USB 3.2 Gen 2, you get 802.11ax or Wi-Fi 6, you get 2.5 gig LAN. You get so much in this little board. So if you're looking to build a small form factor system, I mean, this is it's got
a ton of bells and whistles, it looks like.
Yeah, so pretty excited about that. And then I'll be taking a look at a new gaming headset, which I don't have on. But it's a new gaming headset. I'm actually really excited about it because I can't tell you what it is, but I've been a fan of this headset for a very long time, for years. And it's a new version. So we'll have that for you guys next week as well. And we're coming to the end here. We talk about if we did anything cool or we've been working on anything. I know you were working on some stuff earlier today.
Yeah. Or if you want to
I can bring it up here on the.
Let's picture up real quick.
Let's see if I can bring it up. There you go.
Yeah, that's the old current status of the PC right now. Actually, it's a little further than that. But I ran into an issue like a little bit ago with the mounting method for the old reservoirs and pump. So we'll figure something out. But no, it's good. It's going well. It's
I think is this your first water cooling build?
No. Okay. It's my first like custom build in 10, 15 years. I did like a SwiftTech review like way back in the day for another site, and there was a kit like Thermaltake had their big water kit. I don't know if you remember any of that, but like I did one of those that was a custom kit. A few others, but this is the most recent one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm excited. It's going all right, going well. Just it always takes longer than you think it's going to.
Well, like I said, I think it looks cool. I'm excited to see your final the final product per se. I'm excited to see that. I already talked about Prime Day, but I also, it's not in the show notes, but I just watched earlier today the Social Dilemma. If you guys haven't seen this on Netflix, it's about social media, which you guys are all using to watch this live stream, but how they use our data to promote certain things and how we see things differently. It just gives you a better understanding of what is actually happening on social media. It's on, like I said, it's a documentary. It's on Netflix. It's by people who actually, have worked at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, all that stuff.
It's also a story about a girl that a clip of hers is featured on there, and it's like some TikTok clip of her saying something, like some sort of theory or thought of, I don't remember what the topic was or whatever, and she was being sarcastic and had even prefaced her video with like, this is sarcastic, and like the people that follow me and watch me know that, and like this is almost like a character that I do. But of course, in this movie, they cut just the one little clip, so it makes it look like it's almost like meta, right?
Yeah,
they've tweaked a clip of somebody to tell the story how they want it to be told, or get evidence when it's really not that case. And that's what this whole like movie's trying to show as well. So that was kind of funny.
Gotcha. Well, that is yeah. Like I said, I thought it was interesting. I thought that you could, like I said, it's worth watching if you are on social media at all, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are. So it's on Netflix. I'll add it into the show notes so you guys can have it if you're listening to this later. But Old Man said you can mount the reservoir and pump to the right of the motherboard if you use clamp.
Yeah, so there's going to be there's another radiator that goes on the front mount of the case, and I do have the pump and res attached to that radiator and fans right now, but they have some tabs that stick out, and the way that this case, the glass side panel is, those tabs are like 2 centimeters too long, and they're going to hit the glass and won't let it close. So I got to figure out something a little different, but we'll get there.
Gotcha.
Not worried.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and end things here. We appreciate everybody in here on the live stream. And of course, everybody who listens to our podcast, whether it's on iTunes, Google, or Spotify,
Stitcher, whatever.
Yeah, all of them. But if you are looking for the audio version of our podcast, it's just ThinkComputers, all one word. And again, thanks everybody for stopping out, and we'll see everybody next week.